Welcome back everyone. The Golden State Warriors continue to hover around 500, but in reality, they're really not that far away from the top of the Western Conference. At the moment, they're only a couple of games away from the 3rd seed, and could realistically get there by going on a small run, and many believe they could use a trade to help them do it, one of which would involve James Wiseman. At this point, a majority of fans have grown tired with waiting for him. Despite only being 21 years old, he has not shown the growth that many of his peers have. And between reoccurring injuries, along with never really fitting in the rotation even when he is healthy, there is a growing argument for him to be traded. On one hand, he will only continue to lose value if they cannot find a role for him, and the longer they wait, the less they can hope to get in return for him. And for a team with a potentially closing championship window like they have, that is something they need to consider doing, as they cannot afford to waste the remaining prime of Steph Curry. On the other hand though, if they were to trade James Wiseman, and then he immediately looks better on a different team, then they would look pretty foolish. I mean, he has already taken a pretty big hit in trade value, so they need to be sure that he will never fit with them before trading him, which is never an easy thing to figure out. With all of that being said though, there are definitely trades they could make involving him, and ones that would very likely give them a better chance of defending their title. So in today's video, we are going to take a look at 5 trades they could make involving James Wiseman, and then what they might be able to get in return for him. Before we do that though, I would like to invite all of you to join our NBA Discord. If you enjoy having NBA discussion, being updated on NBA news, or chatting with others during live games, then I guarantee you would enjoy it. Without further ado though, let's dive right into it. And before we begin making trades, we need to briefly talk about their biggest needs. In my opinion, they have an obvious need for more reliable frontcourt depth, could use one more bigger 3-and-D wing player, and then they definitely need to improve their bench production. With all of that in mind though, now moving on to trade number 1, and here we have a deal with the Orlando Magic, which will include Wiseman being dealt to Orlando, and then Mo Bamba, along with a 2nd round draft pick or 2 coming to Golden State. The Orlando Magic are clearly in a rebuild, and despite them having Wendell Carter Jr., they might be interested in buying low on James Wiseman. And then for Golden State, Mo Bamba would be a much better option for them right now. In fact, he is in many ways what they want Wiseman to eventually become, with that being a great rim protector, a reliable lob threat, and then an above average 3-point shooter, all of which Mo Bamba could provide them with. Now, he unfortunately would not fit their switch on everything style of defense, but he would be the best rim protector they've had in quite a while now, and depending on their matchup, that could be very valuable to them come playoff time. And then all he would be asked to do on offense would be catching lobs, along with knocking down the occasional 3, which he definitely can do. Bamba is currently shooting over 38% from beyond the arc, and while he might not have the ceiling that Wiseman does, you can argue that Bamba has plenty of untapped potential, and if what they did with Andrew Wiggins can be comparable, they could help Mo Bamba become a better all-around player. But now moving on to trade number 2, and here we have a deal with the Chicago Bulls, which will include trading James Wiseman, JaMychal Green, and draft compensation for Andre Drummond and Alex Caruso. A number of reports indicate that the Warriors might have interest in acquiring Caruso, and it's really not that hard to tell why either. For one, he could replicate what Gary Payton II brought to their team last season. He is an incredible defender, loves to get out and run transition, can knock down the occasional 3, and he is simply a winning player. If they were to add Caruso to their rotation, that could go a long way in helping improve their depth and overall reliability from their bench unit, both from him and Andre Drummond too. He might not be the rim protector they'd probably like, but he would provide them with another dominant rebounder behind Kevon Looney, a good screener, and then a better lob threat as well. Now, I'm not entirely sure what they'd have to give up to acquire them, as the Bulls have reportedly put a heavy price on acquiring Caruso, but it might be something for them to look into. Now moving on to trade number 3 though, and here we have a deal with the Toronto Raptors, which will involve trading James Wiseman and JaMychal Green for Chris Boucher. I know the more attractive target here would be Gary Trent Jr., or maybe even OG Anunoby, but I simply don't believe the Warriors will go after them. However, if Toronto does indeed blow their team up, then Chris Boucher would likely become available as well, and he would actually be a great fit for their team. He is more of a power forward, but would likely play at center in their small ball lineup, and between his rebounding, shot blocking, and scoring ability on offense, that could make him a good fit for their system. But now moving on to trade number 4, and here we have a deal with the Detroit Pistons, which would involve trading James Wiseman and JaMychal Green for Saddiq Bey, Nerlens Noel, and a second-round draft pick or 2. Another rebuilding team that might be willing to take a chance on Wiseman, the Detroit Pistons had plenty of playing time to offer him, and with them reportedly open to trading Saddiq Bey, this might be a win-win scenario. Nerlens Noel would kind of be a throw-in player here, but even he could be a good fit for them. He would fill their need for a lob threat, a rim protector, and then a rim runner off the bench. If they could get Saddiq Bey though, they should absolutely jump on that opportunity. He is by no means an incredible player, but he would be a great addition to their bench unit. He would definitely be an upgrade over Anthony Lamb, and would simply provide them with more reliable production off their bench, which they are obviously in need of. But now moving on to our 5th and final trade. And here we have a deal with the Charlotte Hornets, which would involve trading James Wiseman for Mason Plumlee and Jaden McDaniels. Now, they could theoretically go after PJ Washington rather than Mason Plumlee, but they would not be able to retain both him and McDaniels during the offseason, as they will both be looking for new contracts. And although Plumlee might not be as impactful compared to PJ Washington, he would still be a very good fit for their team. He is a great rebounder, a solid lob threat, an underrated passer, and then most importantly, a very good screener. That might not sound that important, but that is pretty much a requirement for a center to play in the Warriors system. They absolutely thrive with big men who set good screens, and then especially with those who have high IQs. And that would pretty much be the perfect way to describe Mason Plumlee. He is not particularly flashy, but he does all the little things like Golden State values. And then for Jaden McDaniels, he would be an absolute luxury for them to have, an incredibly versatile defender, and then a fairly reliable offensive player. He would be a great fit for their team. I can already imagine a front court of Andrew Wiggins, Jaden McDaniels, and Draymond Green wreaking havoc on defense, and then pair them with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson on offense, and you have a very deadly combination. To wrap everything up here though, if Golden State is thinking about trading James Wiseman, then I would recommend they go after a trade that fills one of, if not multiple of their remaining needs, and I think these 5 trades would do that for them. With all of that being said though, what do you guys think? Do you think the Warriors should trade James Wiseman? And if you do, who do you think they should trade him for? Let me know your thoughts by commenting down below and we can talk about it there. That will do it for this video though. Big thank you to those of you who took the time to watch until the end of this video, and until the end of all of my videos in general. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and turn on notifications to get notified right away when I drop a new video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.